Welcome to part 4 of our point of view in literary text. We are going to be working on the page that has all the little cameras on it. So go ahead and cut out all your cameras, and we're going to be gluing them as follows. So you're going to want to fold on the dotted line like so. And you're only going to put glue on this back part right here at the top of the fold. This way, it'll make little flaps like you see here where we can put information. So you're going to go ahead and glue first, second, and third person. And on the next page, you're going to glue third objective first, third limited second, and third omniscient third. You'll see why we have it in this specific order later on. Go ahead and pause the video and glue those in. Okay, so I went ahead and I've glued in my first, second, and third on my first page. So let's go ahead and let's write all the notes that we need underneath the first, second, and third. Now, under first person, what you need to know is that a character in the story is the narrator. So, a character in the story is the narrator. And the next thing you need to know is that the narrator is going to use pronouns I, me, my, etc. when telling the story. So your narrator is going to be the main character, and they're going to be telling the story through their eyes. Now, second person is something that you don't typically see very often. It is somewhat rare, but in second person, the reader is the narrator or main character of the story. So go ahead and write that down. The reader is the narrator / main character of the story. And the pronouns that are going to be used is really you and your. So uses the pronoun you a lot. And then, of course, you want to know that second point of view is rare. You're not going to see it very often. And then finally, we have third person. Now, third person point of view is used often, just like first person. And in this case, the narrator is outside of the story, is telling the story. So, the narrator outside of the story is telling the story. And again, the narrator is going to use different pronouns. In this case, it'll be he, she, and they. So the narrator uses pronouns he, she, and they. Now there are 3 types of third point of view, which we'll go on to later on in a different video. Now, on another page, you have different snippets of stories. I want you to go ahead and take the small ones and cut them out. Now, go ahead and pause your video, and I want you to take a highlighter, and I want you to highlight all of the pronouns and all the 3 different pieces of paper. So I went ahead and I highlighted all the different pronouns. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to first person. And we're going to look for the story that has pronouns I, me, and my. Now here I see the story. It says, I found myself lost in the woods, absolutely and utterly alone. I can't find my camping group. I'm so happy my mom packed my flare gun in my backpack. So we're seeing a lot of I, me, and my. So this would be an example of what first person looks like. So go ahead and take your glue and glue that snippet of the story onto the back flap of first person. That way you always have an example of what first person point of view looks like. Now in second person point of view, we're looking for you and your. In this story, it says you're walking through the woods and there's no one around and you are very lost. You can't seem to find your camping group. So in this case, I'm seeing second person point of view because I'm seeing the pronoun you and the reader is the main character. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue this in to the back of second person point of view. Now finally, in third person point of view, I know that the narrator is going to be using pronouns like he, she, and they. And in this example, I see those pronouns. As she walked deeper into the woods, she realized there was no one else around, and she was very lost. Her camping group was nowhere around. So this would be a good example of a third person point of view. So I'm going to put glue on the back, and I'm going to glue it behind third person point of view. In our next lesson, part 5, we're going to go over the different types of third person.